Welcome back. I have here today Prasad Kaipa. And Prasad is a advisor and coach focusing on innovation and leadership since 1990. He's worked with over 120 C-level executives in the global Fortune 500 companies. He has unique competence in helping his clients find their next significant step to take. And he has found that unless he helps his client examine signature strengths that they've turned into core competence, and he'll help them keep them stuck, it's difficult to really change and make sure that they have creativity within their channels of life. Prasad, welcome to today's show.
Well, thank you, Alan.
You recently wrote a book, From Smart to Wise.
Yes.
Why don't you give me some background, how you got to where you are today?
Sure. I'm a physicist by training. And when I was in Salt Lake City as a professor, I found out the science and technology will give me some elements. But if I want to resolve social problems through science, I need to really go beyond what technology offers. That's when I began to recognize the tools like computers and collaboration are more important than just how good a scientist I am. That led me to Apple Computer. And in Apple, I had an opportunity to interview and research extraordinary people to find out tools for learning, creativity, collaboration, teamwork, and leadership. And I quit Apple in 1990. Since then, I have been doing executive programs, consulting, keynotes, and coaching in these areas of how one can be wise, not just smart, and how one can be innovative. These are the kinds of works that I do, and I really enjoy doing this.
You know, you talk about having a balance in your life, and there are 3 areas to balance. What are those?
The 3 areas which I found are important for me are, one is I am a business consultant. That means I am in the business, but I need to keep remembering I am not off the business. I need to be a human being first and a business consultant next. If I forget that priority, then I get so consumed by profit, I get so consumed by what I do that I lose who I am. So first major intersection is business. The second one for me, which is extremely important, is the spirit of who I am. You know, we all talk about team spirit, creative spirit, all of that. But what it means is there is an authentic self that I am. Sometimes people can talk about it as there is a spiritual self that actually guides and directs my actions, whether I know it or not. That's what gives me personality or branding. So spiritual self is the second domain I need to pay attention to. And the third one is, because I'm a scientist by training, I look at the science and technology that gives me tools. So to summarize, science and technology gives me tools and frameworks. Business gives me results and measures. The spirit of who I am gives me meaning, purpose, and passion for what I do. I believe at the intersection of these 3, when I have balance of these 3, then it ignites my genius, and also my work will ignite the genius of other people whom I work with.
Can we introduce spiritual aspects into business leadership?
Sure. I do believe the spiritual aspect is always part of business leadership, but we are not very comfortable talking about it because we don't want religion and business to mix, just like a politics and religion or politics and business not to mix. But there are 2 elements to spirituality. One is how you practice your values, your virtues, and your integrity, your ethics are part of your spiritual self. Of course, in addition to that, there are rituals and there are spiritual and religious practices. They may or may not have place in the workplace because people are coming from different religious traditions, and they may like what you are doing, or they may not understand what you are doing. So if we can divide up the religion into spirituality and the practices, I do believe that spirituality has a significant role in business because that's the source of our passion, our calling, our purpose, especially if we want more innovation, more employee engagement, and more loyalty, we need to attend to these aspects of spirituality.
Well said. Prasad, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages. And I'd like to go on further about this from smart to wise.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you very much.
With current laws, we have left our children an enormous financial burden. Even though they may be too young to understand it. At GrowCo, we care about you and the ones you love, and the quality of your and their lives. Call us today to see how we can help. 877-CPA-2006.
Helping you along the way.
Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Prasad Kaipa, and he's the author of the book From Smart to Wise. Prasad, in the first segment, we were talking about the balance within our careers, and we touched on the topic of our spirituality and sometimes saying that it's taboo in the workplace, so we just don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Yet every individual has a driving force within themselves.
That's right.
I want to expand upon this principle, though. What is the difference between having wisdom versus our spirituality?
The difference between wisdom and spirituality, Alan, it is about practical elements of spirituality. When you talk about how spirit shows up at workplace, it could be innovation and creativity, it could be engagement, it could be team spirit, or it could be my willingness to be humble and give other people opportunity and humility. These are virtues that are valued in any business. So, to have this discernment in terms of quality of decisions we make and the quality of attitude that you show towards your customers, to your employees and colleagues, that's what you call the spiritual wisdom, but brought into practical domain. Interestingly, even Aristotle talked about spiritual wisdom as Sophia and practical wisdom as phronesis. So, what we are addressing in this book, by the way, I'm a co-author of this book. Navi Raju is another gentleman who co-wrote it with me. We looked at practical wisdom, taking the spiritual principles through stories and through other means to apply it in a way that benefits the larger good. So, when you bring spirituality into leadership, it is about how you make other people leaders, how you make your organization succeed. It is not just about me. It's also about how you make customers succeed. That's what this book is about.
I love that because so oftentimes the leader feels that they need to be the traffic cop, directing and steering and telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Where the true leader is the person that empowers.
Yes.
It's elevating the people around. Over the years, you've worked with all these C-level executives, and how do you find, and you've seen all sorts of different styles of leadership.
Yeah.
Do you see a style that works better than another in terms of people being able to lift and inspire?
Sure, Alan. What I found is leadership has to be flexible and resilient, recognizing there are times when you lead from the front, there are times when you lead from behind, by coaching, motivating, encouraging, and there are times you step away and let other people lead. I call that as role clarity. Interestingly, the leadership style that seems to work with has, in my opinion, has got about 6 capabilities. I could put them into an acronym, WISDOM. W stands for working with authenticity and appropriateness. I can't just say I'm always authentic, but I'm not appropriate to the context, or vice versa. I is for intelligent and flexible fortitude. If I'm an entrepreneur, if my project is not going well, I need to know when to hold on, when to let go. S for shifting my perspective from what is in it for me to a noble purpose. What is in it for the people in the ecosystem? D for knowing my decision logic. I need to know how I use my instincts, intuition, and emotion, not just the data and logic in making decisions. And openness to lead from anywhere is the fifth one. And knowing my motivation drivers, short term, medium term, is the last one. So I believe these 6 capabilities are great to work with.
Prasad, that's well said. We need to take a quick break.
Sure.
And when we come back, I'd like to move back into Smart to Wise and find out some more stories about, styles of leadership over the years that help a person to take the genius within and ignite it.
He's the world's most trustworthy man. Tax filing deadlines are scheduled around his vacation calendar. The IRS agent who audited his client apologized.
I don't always advise people on their taxes, but when I do, I save them every penny legally possible.
GrowCo CPAs and Advisors.
Come to GrowCo and stay wealthy, my friend.
Welcome back. I'm visiting today with Prasad Kaipa. He is the co-author of the book From Smart to Wise. And Prasad has been since 1990 advising close to 120 CEOs of C-level organizations and helping them understand how to connect with themselves and in leading and accomplishing visions. We've been talking in the last segment about wisdom and also getting connected with spirituality. What would you say the common struggle is? Why people are not able to connect with spirituality in the workplace?
I find that many people think spirituality means when I am older or when I have a crisis, or I will go to God when I can't do it myself. And they associate ego or self with being able to make it happen. There are lots of false notions about wisdom and spirituality at workplace. For example, there are several thousand people who went to fromsmarttowise.com, downloaded the chapter. Many people bought the book. In India, it's a bestseller. But I found many of them read just the first chapter and stop it because they are comfortable being smart. But being smart is only about the small amount of your personality. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get in touch with all of you, if you want to create a brand in the social media, if you want to differentiate yourself from other people, you have to use a lot more of who you are, not just what you do. So when you begin to ask the question, who am I? What is my authentic self? What is my unique value proposition? How do I differentiate myself from others? Then you have to touch upon what is my authentic self, what is my spiritual self, and how do I bring my unique wisdom, unique genius, not just about how smart can I be, how can I leverage this for my own self-interest.
It's interesting that, and that's so well said. A lot of us, we fail to acknowledge who we really are, and we're all born with some very unique gifts. Right. So, in your motto of the business is igniting the genius within. Yeah. How does a person get in touch with who they really are?
The first way in which one needs to ask oneself is, where do I want to be? 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what is my larger purpose? I even ask a question, when you tell your grandkids some 20, 30 years from now, what would you say about yourself? You can't say, oh, I was the CEO of the company, or I made so much money, or I have all this property. That doesn't mean much to the grandchildren. So you have to say what you contributed to other people. What is the legacy that you left behind for others? So the key is about what is the noble purpose, what is the larger good that drives your behavior now in the short term, also in the long term. So first, I need to focus on what is the purpose. Why do I do what I do? But very rarely people ask that question. And then comes the question of meaning. When I do what I do I feel connected with my work? Do I know how my work is affecting my organizational goals? Are my customers going to be fulfilled because of the work that I do in coming up with the products and services? That is where the meaning gets connected, especially because of organizational engagement issues that are there. Only less than 30% of employees are connected with their work. That is because they don't find meaning. They don't find the connection. And passion. Third, passion and creativity are extraordinarily important for you to come up with products and services that leapfrog the competition. Where will they come from? So passion, meaning, purpose, all of these are not connected with the show that you put on, being smart, but digging deeper into your own wisdom, igniting the genius that comes. So figure out a way to ask these questions. What is my purpose? What work gives me meaning? How do I actually execute on the passion that I have? What is my larger purpose that will benefit others, like my customers and other people, in addition to benefiting myself? These are the first set of questions that allows people to ignite their genius, because in contribution, we come alive. In consumption, we lose ourselves.
Would you say that when a leader is able to step out and ignite this genius by allowing their spirituality to enter into their leadership style, does it inspire those around them to do the same?
No question. Alan Mulally is one great example. When I met him and talked with him in Boeing before he went to Ford, I was amazed at the amount of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a very special word, actually. It is connected with the spirit already. It is infectious. I had to come. When I came out, I asked his secretary, is Alan always this way? He said, yep, Alan is excited, enthused, and he does more homework about you before you meet, even though he is the president of a company and I'm just a small, lowly consultant. He made me feel special. He did a lot of research. He knew a lot about me. I felt like I was honored and respected. Imagine if other people make you feel great. Whatever you appreciate gets appreciated. Whatever you depreciate disappears. This is the foundation for positive psychology, and this is the foundation for good human relationships, where when other people are happy, they make you happy and they are productive, they are creative. That is the secret of igniting the genius within.
It's really interesting. You state this so well.
Thank you.
And, it's all about what am I doing to better the lives of those around me.
Right.
Lift and elevate. I love all this here, Prasad. I want to hold you over for another segment.
Sure.
And talk more about From Smart to Wise. It's a remarkable book. I understand this is on the top 10 list for business books.
Top 10 list for business books in India already. We just got an award from San Diego University to be the top 10 business books, and we will know in ILA conference in October where it ends up in the top 10. But thank you.
Excellent. We'll be right back after this message with more from Prasad on From Smart to Wise.
Protecting your family's health and welfare is a sacred trust. At Greenstein Rogoff Olsen Company, we know that sound financial planning will protect them now and in the future. We're certified public accountants with tax services for the highly successful. For your business and your family, call GrowCo.
Greenstein Rogoff Olsen Company will help you manage your financial affairs so you can focus on what's really important in life.
GrowCo, helping you along the way.
Welcome back. I'm visiting today with Prasad Kaipa. He's the author of the book From Smart to Wise. It's becoming a quick-selling book. It's on the top 10 business books in India, and also has just been recently released here in the U.S. and is also quickly climbing in the charts, in which excellent book, which it talks about, not just applying your knowledge, but moving into the wisdom.
Right.
And also spirituality is a big part of this. We were talking off the break about, how everyone within them has a spirit that helps them to think, helps them to understand, helps them to drive and do what they do. Yeah. How do you get them to ignite that spirit and to acknowledge, allowing them to follow after their own passions and desires?
I think it connects with your show, Alan. You talk about the dreams. When we are dreaming, when we are envisioning, we do not look at the obstructions in making them happen. So first we need to learn to dream. Sometimes people let their logic or the data get in the way of having big dreams. But of course, you have to also ask a question, what am I dreaming for and who am I dreaming it for? So that means if I can expand my horizon and think about not just me, my family, my community, my organization, my nation. If I can keep expanding to the extent that is possible, that will be very powerful. That's the first step. Second step is once you dream and envision what you want to create and why you want to create. Second is to passionately go after it. But when you go after it, don't look at it like my project and it is all for myself, but keep remembering to enroll other people in your ecosystem to be part of it, and you help them to make their dreams come alive, and they will help you to make your dreams come alive. That is where the enlightened self-interest will produce significant results not only for you but also for them. That is the second part of it. And the third part of it is when you are executing, when you are focusing on acting, make sure you are detached from the outcome and what that outcome means to you. Focus on the passion, focus on the process, focus on the people. But don't get emotionally entangled with what will I do if I get this money or if I become successful. So that detached engagement will give you role clarity and also make sure your ego gets out of the way. And that humility and hard work will allow you to ignite your genius and become a wise leader.
So often I think we fall for the notion that acquiring more wealth, acquiring more status, acquiring more position. And the net result is when we start in on this journey, we realize it's not what the journey should be.
Right.
You look at some of the greatest leaders who walk the face of this earth. You got like Jesus Christ or Mahatma Gandhi or even Viktor Frankl, who said it. But none of these people really ended up with a lot of wealth, yet they ended up with a lot to contribute to us. We're running up against the end of the show here. I want to give the listeners an opportunity to learn more about your book and also how do they reach you?
They can reach me by going to fromsmart2wise.com. There is a free chapter they can download. There are lots of articles. Even more importantly, there is a free assessment, a 5-minute assessment to know where you are on the wise leadership path. Then it can give you gaps. Take that assessment, read the book. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of the places has got it. So get the book. And I even recommend create a wise leader circle around you. Get other people to read it with you and read one chapter at a time and look at how you can practice it. If you can do that, then not only you become wise, you help others to become wise.
Prasad, thank you for joining today's show.
Thank you, Alan. I really enjoyed the interview with you. Appreciate it.
Join us again next week on AM 1220 KDOW right here with American Dreams.